It's time now for Perspective. This Thursday, the Vatican's top investigator into sexual abuse within the clergy is in Poland, where he's attending a session of the Conference of Polish Bishops. A string of recent accusations of child sex abuse by members of the Catholic Church has sent shockwaves through the country, with a recent film about the issue generating a huge amount of debate in the majority Catholic country. Complicating matters, the extremely close relationship the ruling Law and Justice Party has fostered with Poland's bishops. Well, to discuss this in a little greater detail, we can cross now to Warsaw to speak with Radoslaw Markowski, who is a professor of political science at the Polish Academy of Sciences. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to us here on France 24. Now, what exactly... A pleasure. What exactly is the Vatican's special envoy to this meeting of bishops intending to achieve, do you think?
Well, it's complicated, as everything in the Catholic Church is pretty secret. But what we know about this archbishop is that previously he was extremely successful in the United States, Chile, and elsewhere where this kind of problems occurred. So he's a kind of person who says that his main narrative and the message is that bishops serve the people and as such should be also responsible vis-a-vis law. If they violate law, they should be prosecuted as everybody else. Well, this is precisely the problem that Polish Catholic Church has with the clergy and the bishops. The thing is that the Polish Catholic Church is simply incapable of reforming and purification, but by sort of internal mobilization. So that's why Pope Francis sends this special envoy. He is going to talk, he's going to be here for several days, and we'll look into the results. However, let me immediately say that as everything, again, in this institution, this kind of findings, the report is not for the public. We could only expect that investigatory journalism could provide us with some leaks, what is in it. But I think this is the main expectation, that he will, formally he is here to instruct how to behave, how to proceed with such issues. But I think that the accountability matters will be raised as well.
And is there any sign that the Polish Church is becoming ready to accept that there has been a historic problem of child sex abuse in its ranks?
I don't think so. Actually, it was already in 2010 when the first message from the Vatican was delivered, and Polish bishops were asked to provide Vatican with data on this issue, and somehow it evaporated and nothing was accomplished. So, I mean, there are, as any big institution, there are different priests, different bishops, but by and large, this is a very conservative institution, an institution which witnesses these days a decline in religiosity, very sluggish but very stable process of secularization in Poland. And they are in this, what we know from the past, a kind of conservative backlash, together with the ruling party, against modernity. That this is this moment in which the titular majority sees that in 10 to 20 years they will be in minority, and then they try to defend things that are somehow linked to the essence of the church. So there are, of course, bishops which are ready to open up, but I think they are in minority.
Now, in Poland, you mentioned it just there, the church does have a real influence on policy, everything from education to healthcare, certainly law and order. That's meant that there's been a decidedly political element to this paedophilia scandal in the Catholic Church.
Well, it generally, I mean, this is another broader issue. The pedophilia scandal is one of the many problems we have with this institution. The institution is an economic, active entity. It has a lot of privileges and exemptions, state subsidies. We, the citizens, pay social insurance for the churches, etc., etc. So it is here, as I've already already said, the secular trend is visible. However, they exert a direct, I would say direct. There is no other country in Europe in which the religious institution has a direct impact on policy decisions. And that's the main problem. And also, from a broader and satellite view, I would say that, somehow this church, which was so instrumental in getting rid of communism, did not catch up with democratic expectations and credentials. I mean, they simply socialized the Polish citizens to not being a democratic citizen. It is a socialization to being subjects of political power and of the religious institutions. So this is the main problem. And among those, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So this is why in their mindset, they don't feel like being held to account by the people and by the parishes, by parish goers, etc., etc.
Okay, Radoslaw Markowski, Professor of Political Science at the Polish Academy of Sciences. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to us here on France 24.
Thank you.
A reminder now of our top headlines here on France 24. An uneasy calm settles in Hong Kong as authorities close a number of government offices. This one day after violent clashes between police and protesters left at least 70 people injured. Leader Carrie Lam dismissing the protests as organised riots. And a push to de-escalate tensions between Tehran and Washington comes from Japan. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in Tehran warning against sparking an accidental conflict. It's the first visit by a Japanese leader to Iran in 40 years.